very glad to be here today to share with you what we have been doing with mapping probably in the last 10 years. I will talk about visualization, the approach that we take within our group, and also I will introduce this framework that we just started putting together called Glide, that one of our vision is to probably soon to share with other group. Our goal is very simple. We normally our goal to create and develop project very quickly and visualize data that user can start, utilizing somehow. So we have to move quick from just the data is served to some kind of insights. And for that, we have been working on Glide for a while now. And anyone that probably do mapping knows the challenge that actually is there to not only deal with multiple data sets, multiple format, but also how to visualize data set or more than one data set at a time. There is many platforms probably out there that can do that. We use some of them in our work. They're powerful, but at the same time, they can be rigid. Like the end users that we have, application like, for example, like GIS, normally is not really sufficient for them, or they cannot actually understand how to utilize it. So we take the complexity out of the equation and develop, platform and visualization that they can really use. Also within our group for the developers, very handy because we can just, develop on top of something that has been done previously in other projects. We can just probably clone a repository. We get immediately available code that we can utilize. Like for example, during the pandemic, COVID, we were able to start visualizing data like almost, immediately with minus adjustment. So Glide help developers, analysts, sometimes city planners to do their job. So our vision is continuing developing Glide to be, to be more powerful in the exploration, in the analysis also. And like I was mentioning to someone before, we don't have any AI in Glide right now, but it's in our radar to actually start, implementing. Mainly, Glide is powerful in their design and the interactivity that provide to the end user. Who are the people that currently are using Glide? Our group within the University of Miami, in our department and other departments. Also, analysts that want to explore and compare data sets. Researchers within the university, they can do analysis on health data or climate data, for example. Some of those projects, probably I'm going to do a presentation at the end. Also, educator in classes, like software engineering classes, they use our software to teach students and allow them to also create projects within the 14 weeks that a semester is going to last. So they can utilize the platform and start working. And lately, some group within the university has been trying to work with city planners. Like, for example, right now, they are in conversation with the Miami-Dade County to see how they can use our tools to work on the creating the information for the expansion of the bus transit, for example. What is Glide? Well, right now it's like mainly a framework, modular library that we can quickly utilize. We want to convert Glide really in a complete SDK. It's very configurable. Like to start a project, you can decide how you organize your layer data, how you're going to visualize the color that you're going to apply. You can like configure all those things. Once you have a layer, you can even configure how the layer itself is going to be visualized, if it's going to be rendered at the beginning, when you open the page, when you go into that group, once a layer is in the map, what can you do with it? Can you just remove it quickly, put it back? Can you remove the opacity? And all those kind of things can be configured through the application. It's totally built on using Node.js. It's very kit. We rely heavily on Leaflet and MapLibre. If somehow they disappear, then Glide is really not much. But yes, we build it that way. It's quickly for us, and we are looking into other approach, actually. We emphasize more in the visualization reserve, and more than that, like how the layer on data sets are going to be distributed in the map. Like Brian going to show later, you can have a data set that is more than way that you can actually put it into the map. You have probably a lot of variables that you want to separate. So we can take one data set, we can make it just one layer in the map, or we can just break it in different layers, and they can be interactively approached, and they can be seen at different time. This is mainly the architecture. We have a front end. The one that we are utilizing currently in our group is built using a Svelte kit. Our initial approach was also with Angular. We might have projects that are still running on Angular, but any current developer and forward developer, we are going to do it using the Svelte kit. It's totally a layer API. It has backend services. We can utilize different storages. So right now, we go with Postgres and PostGIS, and mainly Solr. The approach that we take is like normally we take a data set, we put it into PostGIS, we inspect it there. As a developer, we check validated data, curated, and those kind of stuff. Once the data is ready, then we have bridge or we have some kind of processes that we are going to index those data into Solr. And from there, then we start serving the UI. Mainly the data sources, they ended up being totally GeoJSON, or they can be raster or vector types. For deployment, we can go directly to Nginx. We can deploy using Docker or Kubernetes. Most of the time, we try to deploy into a Kubernetes platform. We have been keeping the documentation and the standardization of the API of the Glide according to OpenAPI. So it's easy for people to start working. Pagination and filters totally supported from out of the box. Layer and separation of layer, collection, groups, all of those things are totally built into the platform currently. The key feature is the multi-layer visualization. That's at the end of the day what it is. And we can render vector tiles in raster. We can do comparison of layer, and we can toggling them. Once you decide that you're going to do a project, we decide that we are going to do a project. We take some code out of the repository, and then we start planning how the layers are going to be distributed. And we decide which layer can actually, we can compare with other layers. To give you an idea, it's like in some data sets, sometime in applications that we do are like, we are going to show parts, for example. So when that layer, you're not going to compare that with any other layer. It doesn't probably make sense, at least not for us. So those layers, they just appear on the map. But there are other layers, like maybe health data, that you want to do comparison according to where a situation is happening. Like, I don't know, idea like where there are more people with diabetes or stuff like that. We can do time slider and filter. We can query by a specific feature. And we can also export, once the map is on the UI, we can just export it as a PDF or PNG. The API for Glide is like kind of simple. We have three actually data storage. We have what we call layer collection, and that's the way that we just group layers. And then from there, we have layers that can just list all of one or individually. And each layer is going to have their own features. And for us, a feature is anything that we can render in the map. Like it could be a point, a line, or a multi-polygon, whatever that is. And authentication is also optional. Like it's part of the SDK, but it's not automatically implemented. Probably the developer will have to activate the component and start using them and secure their own routes according to their need. Our goal is to actually keep it very simple, and that's one of the reasons why we have found out that using, for example, Solar indexes, they are very flexible. We can build query on the fly and retrieve data with more flexibility. Now I'm going to show you a few use cases, 3 of them, on the, like, for example, one of the visualization of multi-layer data sets. We're going to see how we do filtering and how we inspect them, and also how we compare data set. These are 3 different projects done at different time. In this one, let's go fast. In here, like, for example, let's see that is gold video, and we can talk about it. In here, we are displaying actually multiple data set and layers. If you see, we have transit. We have the bus stop across Miami-Dade County. We have the some routes that are being proposed to be built. We have the zoning for the city of Miami and the county. And we also have the flow zone in here. So when this application was configured using Glide, they decided, for example, to load everything that they have in here. So all the transit layer are loaded at the beginning, plus different features in those polygons that are either different type of land use, either or property, if they are governmental, institutional, or if they are surplus. From there, the user can start really interacting. They can remove polygon from here by unchecking these. They can remove also from here, put it back. But this is one way of configuring the application to start with a specific number of layers. We call those layers the heroes layer. In here, basically, we are doing interactivity. The user is searching for data. Once they found what they are looking, like in here, we just rendering, for example, the subsidized housing in Miami-Dade County, all those points. The size of the point indicate like how many units or people in there in those areas. And then we have the flow zone. If you see, most of the in this area here, most of the subsidized housing in the county are really in like high-risk flood area. But this one here is outside. I think that's the one that it was clicked before. So the user can click on the point, and they can take whatever information they need. Finally, this is one of the latest projects that we are working on. In here, we have more functionality. This project actually is implementing a bivariate map, so we can do up to only 2 variables right now. So they can choose which variable they want to build the map on. Also, it was configured in here to use the bivariate mode as the hero entry. From there, there is other functionality where you can split the map, and then you can start comparing data set. That is done. So this, on the right side, we have the how loud raster image in Miami-Dade County. And then on the other side, we have people that are living in areas that are below poverty. Now, in the loud zone, like the lower the index, the more loud it is. So if you see like this area here, very loud. And if you go to the map, then you will see that that area is where most of the thing that is done. I will have to. So on that area is where we were concentrated more people, below poverty. And like that, with Glide, we can just, render any type of data. We can compare them. We can put one then on top of the other and see how they look like. We have an application that actually take like the climate data in Dade County, supposedly what is going to happen in 2040, 2060, 2080, according to a storm surge. And according to the elevation in the county, they can see where the problem area could be in case that those disasters really happen. Thank you very much. This is all what I have. And if you have any questions, I'm here.
Hi there. I wanted to ask about if you've ever done accessibility maps with Glide and how that's worked out.
Accessibility map, can you redefine? Because
what kind of accessibility are we? You can help if you want. Yeah, so we're working on a similar project at Cal Poly Humboldt where we're using a web-based system for mapping accessibility, which encompasses a lot of different criteria. It's elevators, it's slopes, it's access to doorways. Is that something that you could see feasibly working within Glide?
Well, this Glide itself will not actually build it because I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Mainly our data is pre-processed. So as long as you have, if you have a layer of data that has GIS attached, you can, Glide is going to render it. But basically, they will have to fall within those categories. It has to be either a raster image, it has to be a vector tile URL, or it has to be just regular vector data. Anything that is a point, line, multi-polygon, it will render. So if you have, or any images, so if you have images and you want to render and visualize it, also it have to be done.
Okay, thank you.